demonstrating how to use the Breathe Warm system. With this system in place, it will help facilitate normothermia in our veterinary patients by providing heated and humidified air while under anesthesia. The components of this system include the inhalant hose, the wick, which we moisten and it's heated, which provides the heated and humidified air, and the controller box. This box is responsible for heating the circuit, and it also has a digital readout of the temperature. First, we need to assemble it by putting the wick into the hose. So slide this in. And drop it in and attach the hose to this adapter. After that is attached, we're going to moisten the wick. To do this, we're going to use 40 cc's of sterile water. Place the water into the wick by using this injection port. So we're going to attach the syringe, press and hold until this valve will open, and slowly inject the water. Right, there's 20 cc's. Now we will repeat and do the same thing. Here's another 20 cc's for a total of 40 cc's of water. This moistens the wick to the appropriate amount, and it evenly distributes so all of this wick is moist. Next, I'm going to show you how to attach it to the anesthetic machine and the circuit box. Alright, here I am by our anesthetic machine. I'm going to place this controller box on the table. And I'm going to attach the inhalant hose to the anesthetic machine. So this end of the hose, where the injection port is, attaches to the inhalant side of the anesthetic machine. So we'll place that there. And then next, we're going to connect our hose to the controller box. And you just line up this clamp, this plastic piece, and slide together until you hear a click. And that's in place. Now I'm going to plug in the controller box and turn it on. There's just a simple toggle switch on the back of this controller box that I'm going to turn on. This displays the temperature. It's a digital readout. These buttons control the temperature. So up controls it, and now we see that it's set at 42.6. Now it's 43. And then it will go back to what the temperature actually is. So if you don't monitor the dog's core body temperature while under anesthesia, the recommended setting would be 42. That's 42 degrees Celsius, which is equal to 107.6 degrees Fahrenheit. We figure even though it's 107 degrees, by the time the air reaches the dog, it's going to have dropped a few degrees. So if we want to maintain the dog's temperature to 100 degrees, you ideally want to set the control box 4 to 5 degrees higher than that. So next, we're going to place the end of this hose to the Y piece. And this is the end that is going to attach to the endotracheal tube of the animal. And this is the expiratory hose. This is the inspiratory hose. So, here's would be our animal. This attaches to the animal. A very important part of this is this hose needs to be below the level of the patient. That way, if any condensation accumulates, the condensation will go to the bottom of this hose. So our patient is here. Here's our circuit, inhalation side, exhalation side, our controller box, which right now is indicating 30 degrees Celsius. And to set it, you're just going to use the arrows up and down to set the temperature that you would like. This unit has a maximum temperature reading or temperature setting, which is 45 degrees Celsius, so you cannot go any higher than that. And if the temperature actually gets above 45 degrees Celsius, you will hear an alarm. And what that alarm sounds like is this. So the only time you will hear an alarm is if the temperature gets above 45 degrees Celsius, or if this cable was to become unattached from this unit. This is a really, really good system in maintaining normothermia in our veterinary patients. Now I'm going to show how to disassemble the unit and to clean the unit. So first we're going to turn off the controller box, remove the hose from the anesthetic machine, take off this tubing from this cable, and remove it from the Y piece. This is what the technician will do at the end of the day. They will remove the wick. This wick is moist. And they will simply hang this wick and allow it to dry overnight. The next day it should be dry and ready for reassembly. Same with the hose. The hose will have some condensation in it. So what we recommend is to take a brush, use the brush. This brush can be moistened with water. Use the brush in the hose, sort of twist it around. And then remove the brush. and then hang the tubing to dry along with the wick. Once a week, we recommend putting spore gone into the wick. It kills fungal spores. So once a week, we recommend that a technician cleans the wick with spore gone and the inhalant hose. To use the spore gone, which is right here, we're going to place a rubber stopper at the end of this hose. We're going to use 20 cc's of spore gone. I'm going to do this way. Just fill up this syringe with 20 cc's of spore gone. So I'm going to place the spore gone into this hose. I'm going to go ahead and put the other rubber stopper on the end. We're going to sort of agitate this hose back and forth, rotate it around, and then this spore gone needs to stay in the hose for 4 to 6 hours. So we just place this here, let it sit for 4 to 6 hours. Now we're going to do the same thing with the wick. We're going to add 20 cc's of spore gone. Again, we're wanting to prevent fungal growth. We do this once a week. So we're going to fill this syringe. This wick is still wet. So this is what you're going to be doing at, let's say, the end of a Friday, end of surgeries on Friday. You're going to put 20 cc's into the wick. Go ahead and place it slowly. We'll distribute throughout the wick. You can see how the wick is a little bit yellow from the spore gone. We're now going to just hang the wick, or you could leave it on a table, but we want the spore gone to be in contact with the wick for 4 to 6 hours. So at the end of Friday, if it's been 4 to 6 hours, you can then rinse the wick and rinse the hose. And what I would do is either dedicate a tub to be used that we fill with water, and you can then, to rinse the wick after 4 to 6 hours, place it in the tub, sort of use your hands to get the spore gone out, remove it from the water. You can sort of wring it out and then hang to dry over the weekend. Same thing with the hose. We're going to remove the excess sporgon into a sink. Place the hose, empty hose, into the water. Now would be a good time to also use the brush. Take it out of the water. Use the brush. And then allow the hose to dry, hanging over the weekend. So I hope that you guys got something out of this and can use the Breathe Warm system. I think it's a really great system. It not only prevents our patients from getting cold, but once an animal has gotten cold, if you increase that setting up to 44, 45, it can really increase their temperature really rapidly. There's really no other way to externally warm the patient, so doing it internally is really the best way. It's especially good to use in the small geriatric patients who we see temperatures drop to 98 degrees rather quickly, even right after we give a pre-anesthetic. Before surgery, their temperature typically drops a good 2 degrees. So this system can prevent hypothermia and keep them from getting too cold and prolonging those recovery times. Thank you.